Well, hey y'all, welcome to a Friday's R4U on Uncle Bub's Bell Buckle Beer Reviews. And this week I've been doing my videos in here in front of my beer wall. It's just been cold and windy and kind of rainy, so I had my beer room kind of cleaned out a little bit, so I was like, man, it's time to do. I ain't been in here in front of my beer wall in a while, so thought we'd do them in here this week since it's yucky outside. Well, what I got for you today is a Yuengling brew that I have never done, and actually I've never seen it around before. I've tried the Yuengling lager, the Yuengling premium beer, Yuengling flight. It seemed like there was another one that I tried. I can't remember, but what I've got for you today is a Yuengling light lager. I've never seen Yuengling light. I've seen the flight, but not the light. And so when I saw this, I was like, let me get one of those. And I was able to pick it up in a single. It's a 4% ABV. Of course, Yuengling is out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania. That's up there close to my buddy Wayne Allen up there in Pennsylvania. Hey, Wayne, love you, man. Hope you had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. But Yuengling is America's oldest brewery, and they've been around. I don't know if it says on here. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, here it is. 18. Yeah, it says 1829. Is that right? That's what it looks like. Hell, I can't. It's awful small. I can't. Anyway, whatever. America's oldest brewery. That's all you need to really know. Got the government warning on it and all that kind of good garbage. This is a 3.2 grams carb, 99 calorie brew. I have enjoyed the Yuengling brews I've tried. The Yuengling Premium, man, used to couldn't find it around here, and it's still kind of hard to find. Every once in a while I can find it at my Walmart, and I'll buy it by the case, because that's the only way they have it there is by the case. The Yuengling Premium. And my buddy Wayne up there in Pennsylvania actually sent me the first one I ever tried. And I was tickled to death to be able to find it here locally. Anyway, it's a good brew. And I have never tried the Yuengling Light Lager. So that's what we're going to do today on a Friday's R4U. Let's see what we got here. I'm expecting a beautiful light straw gold. That's what I'm expecting. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's bright as it can be. Yes, sir. A beautiful head on that thing. Look at that. Love it. I don't know if we've got any aroma coming off the head. Let's see. No, I'm not getting any kind of aroma at all. That don't matter though. It's a domestic beer. And typically you don't get a lot of aroma off domestic beers unless they might be an IPA or maybe something like that, made here in America. A domestic beer, usually you don't get any kind of aroma unless it just smells like beer, you know. And the flavor of the head's the same way. I mean, it just tastes like beer, pretty much. Nothing really distinctive about the flavor of the head. But y'all, if y'all don't pour beer with a head, I mean, that's okay. But especially with a domestic beer, it doesn't really matter. Because, like I said, the aroma is not, they usually don't have any kind of aroma. The flavor of the head is not anything special. And a lot of people don't like the foam at all. And that's fine. That's okay. It's all personal preference. But I'm telling you, if you have a German, Belgian, any kind of imported brew, I don't care what it is, any kind of imported brew, the IPAs, things like that, man, pour it with a head on it. Because it always delivers, for the most part, in my experience, those deliver an aroma that's just a part of the experience of the beer. And the flavor of the head is just part of the experience that you get. Now, domestic beers is not, you're not going to, it's not such a big deal. But German brews, Belgian brews, anything imported, and the IPAs are going to have a distinctive aroma and a distinctive flavor in the head. And if you don't pour head on it, you don't really get to appreciate that. And it's part of the experience. To me, this is my experience, y'all. I'm just telling y'all. That's why I pour head on beer. A lot of people are like, "Whoa, won't you learn how to pour beer?" Well, that's fine. If you're doing domestic, if you're having a draft, that's what you want. You don't want a head, But if you're pouring a beer out of a bottle, I mean, you're not losing any beer. I mean, it'll eventually, go back down in the glass. And especially on IPAs, man, to me, the IPAs deliver so much aroma in the head. But if you don't pour it with a head, you don't get that. And if you ever drinking an IPA, if you ever drank an IPA and have not poured it in a glass and you thought it was terrible, let me suggest you take your IPA and pour it off. They're just different. An IPA is different from the can or the bottle than it is when you pour it off like this. I suggest pouring it off where it can release the aroma. You can appreciate the flavor of the head, and it doesn't leave you as gassy, and it's not as strong. It's really strong if you drink it directly out of the bottle or the can. Anyway, all that crap, that's, we're talking about Yuengling Light today, and this is, so far, it's just, look at that. Just a beautiful gold brew. I didn't even try to brew yet. I just tasted the head, and kind of tastes like beer, but pretty brew. So, this Yuengling Light Lager at 99 calories and 3.2 carbs at a 4% ABV out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Oldest brew in America. This is for all American workers. Hey, I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for the hard work that you do day in and day out to provide for yourselves and your families. Doing work that we need, whether it's in retail or the bank or insurance or whatever, whatever your job is. Thank you for what you do. We all depend on one another, y'all. I work in a factory. And what I produce, I guarantee you what I produce in my factory, you've had in your hand. At one time or another, you've had it in your hand. If you're watching this, you live in America or even outside the country, you've probably had what I produce in my factory in your hand. So we all depend on each other. Everybody's work is important. And I just want y'all to know that I love and appreciate y'all and thank you for what you do. Because I depend on y'all. Y'all depend on me. You may not know it, but you do. We all depend on each other. So thank you, hardworking Americans. I love and appreciate y'all. Cheers, brothers and sisters. This Yuengling Light Lager is for you. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love all kinds of beer, y'all. I'm not really, I wouldn't consider myself a connoisseur because I'm not that damn educated. I don't know a lot about different kind of things. I have a hard time describing beers a lot of times. But I love beer. So you see these beers behind me. I've got beers that line the wall all the way around this room. And all these beers that are lining these walls is beers that I've done and I've reviewed. And I'm just a beer lover. I mean, it's hard to find something that beer-wise that I don't like. There's been a few, but very few. Now, mixed drinks and when you add a lot of adjuncts and it's a malt beverage, which is technically a beer, but it's not really, in my opinion. Some of those I can do without. Whatever. But beer itself, I love it. I love all kinds of beer. The stouts, the porters, the Weizenbachs, the pilsners, the ales, lagers, the lambics, and, you know, just beer. I just love it. And this right here is a good one. I'm gonna score it an A, man. Now this to me, this would be a perfect beer if you're sitting down watching ball game and you got a bunch of Yuengling light lagers, 16-ounce cans. Man, this would go great with a freaking ball game, man. You sit back and just kill a few of them as you go, or just enjoy them as you're watching the game. It's perfect for a ball game, y'all. And I know some of y'all got routines. Y'all like to drink, you know, what, this or that, or have a go-to that you, and I do too. I have my own go-to. But just trying this for the first time, man, I can see me enjoying this a whole lot. Unfortunately, I don't see this beer around. The Yuengling Light Lager. I found this single can in Murfreesboro. I didn't see any 6-packs of it or anything. So it's not something that I can get readily. You know, it's not really typically available to me. And the Yuengling Premium is not either. I have to make a special trip to find it. But I have my go-to. Anyway, if you run across a Yuengling Light Lager, and I know a lot of you probably already tried it, but for those of you who hadn't, give it a shot if you ain't never. This is really good beer. I mean, perfect for enjoying a ball game, or you out working the garden, hot and sweaty, man. Perfect. Lawnmower beer, absolutely. This is very enjoyable. It's a little bit lower on the alcohol content, which I prefer when I'm enjoying a ball game or something like that. Or if I'm just hot and sweaty and I want to kill a few, you know, before I go back. I don't want to be blitzed and go back working in the garden or whatever. Anyway, this would be a perfect brew for that. Scoring it an A. It's delicious. Love it. All right, y'all. That's been a Friday's R4U this week. I'll be back tomorrow for a Saturday Suds. Y'all stay tuned. Take care. Cheers. I love y'all. I love it. That's delicious. I wish I could find it locally.